Hey, Alan here from RVAcrossAmerica.net, and this is going to be found at RVAcrossAmerica.net/Jackson Hole. You're watching me pull out from my campground just south of Jackson. This is early morning. It's my morning commute. I just want to share this with you because this is clearly one of the more spectacular scenic places in our entire amazing nation. This is Jackson Hole, western Wyoming. Approaching the Tetons, we're heading north on US 89. I'm about 10 to 15 minutes south of the town of Jackson. No, I'm not going to put you through the entire drive. This is the canyon I drive through as I leave early in the morning. There is a bus, and I am working on getting the schedule down so that it works for me in order to get to the mountain, to my office, so I can work and teach all day. We're a bit farther north on 89 here, just past the Ford dealer. Doesn't look like a Ford dealer, but Jackson controls the way everything looks here. It's got to fit a certain motif. You can begin to see the Tetons off in the distance to the front left. We're heading north towards the markets and towards the town of Jackson. Again, I'm not going to put you through going into Jackson, but this is just a spectacular drive. This is early morning. You know, I thought about repeating this with several different scenes because every day it looks different. The clouds are a different height. Sometimes you have an inversion with low-lying clouds or ground fog just a few hundred feet above the ground. And when you're on the chairs, you actually go right through the cloud layers. And when you're higher on the mountain, you can sit there and look down on the rest of the world and see the clouds below you. It's really neat. So we're about to make the turn onto essentially the access road. It's also the road that goes across to Victor, Idaho. If you were to continue after making this left, if you were to continue straight, you would go over Teton Pass and drop right down into the town of Victor. There are quite a few people who actually live on the Victor side and travel or commute right across the state line into Wyoming and up to Jackson. We're now on a little further along the road, and we're turning the curve. You're seeing the Tetons. I think you can see why I chose this morning to record the video. It was absolutely spectacular as the sunlight is scattered across the tops of the hills. They're not hills, they're more like 10 to 13,000 foot mountains. It's just inspiring. It's really breathtaking. It's awesome. And as we go along, you're going to see more of this. Jackson itself has, I think, the greatest vertical in the continental 48. It's 4,139 feet from top to bottom. Yet with that, the north end of the mountain and the lower portion is very gentle. It's great for novices and beginners. A lot more terrain than a couple of the mountains I've worked at previously. I am available for ski lessons. If you want to reach out to me, I'd be glad to work with you. I'm recording this on December 8th, and I've already had 14 ski days on the mountain. Conditions for early season 2018 are really spectacular. We had just a few moderate snowfalls, but one of the things that's helped, Jackson has invested in a tremendous amount of snowmaking. Kind of reminds me of the East. It reminds me of Vermont. But the conditions are going to be consistently better because Wyoming is not known for the freeze, thaw, and rain and ice cycle that is found throughout much of the East. Again, as you drive along this highway, I'm just a few minutes away from the transit center where I leave my truck and then use their transit to do the last 7 miles in. It's just a special place. I've only been here, like I say, a few weeks, but I think I figured that out already. Definitely figured that out. Challenging mountain, like I say, the north end of it, the lower portion is very gentle. The rest of it is very challenging. And I'm looking forward to growing as a skier as I continue to challenge myself. And frankly, I'm surrounded by a bunch of millennials who are keeping me on my toes. There's no question about it. In a moment, we're going to shift gears and we're going to take a look at what the return trip looks like, because that too is just spectacular. So it's kind of a double shot. Just driving into the mountain, you know where you're headed, you know what your day is going to be like. You're going to be out in some cool, crisp air. We've had an inversion the last few days where temperatures on the lower mountain have stayed close to 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Overnight lows have been around -10. There was actually a morning I couldn't get out of my trailer because I had a little bit of frost on the door jamb, and it kind of locked up. A little heating helped that. But when you got to the upper mountain and you got through the inversion layer, wow, temperatures jumped into the mid to high 20s. It was comfortable. Definitely amazing weather to enjoy, and lots of sunshine. Like I say, the snow we've had has all stayed. It's been kept as a because of the temperatures, it's not melting back. It's just absolutely spectacular. And again, you're enjoying this view off in the distance that it floors me. And again, every day is different. We're about to shift gears and head back. As we head south now, you're in the late afternoon. The days, of course, are short at this time of year. This is about 4:30 in the afternoon. The sun is already set below the ridge to your right. However, you still have daylight, and this is the canyon I'm now headed south into, maybe a couple of miles away from the campground. This would be after a day of just, working yourself physically on the mountain, and very soon I'll be working with guests, teaching them more about skiing or how to ski. That actually starts for me probably tomorrow morning. So I'm looking forward to this, and looking forward to the entire experience of Jackson Hole Mountain Resort and Jackson, Wyoming. The town itself is a nice town. A little crowded at times, a little bit of traffic at times, but hey, you deal with it. You take what's there. A couple of about 3 great grocery stores. Probably the best Albertsons and best Smiths I've ever seen, and there's a whole grocer, which is phenomenal. It has a entire buffet area for where you can grab lunch, and then a seating area, which is more or less a cyber cafe. So that's absolutely spectacular. And of course, the town is loaded with great restaurants and such. We're now turning into my RV park. You can see my camper on the right-hand side. I'm going to do a little bit of a K-turn to back into my spot, and that'll mark the close of a great day. RVAcrossAmerica.net/Jackson Hole. Enjoy it. There are a few more photos over there and a little bit more backstory.